Education is a power leading forward, the absolute philosophy in the world. Grasping technique, ambitious idea. Be skillful to be ever being. Strength of a country is based on the new generation and the young people. If you want to know the future of Kazakh country, look at Bolshak.
These people have had many choices in their lives and were able to improve their skills abroad. Their guiding principle is that people's health is better than wealth. They've been investing their efforts in the direction of treatment. Today, one such person is Venera Israilova. A professor and a qualified specialist, she has already noticed some obstacles towards treating people and has been working to bring international standards to Kazakhstan. Venera Israilova. From 1982 to 1988, she worked as a doctor at the Kyrgyz State Medical Institute. From 1988 to 1990, she worked at the Kyrgyz State Medical Institute in her residency in anesthesiology and intensive care. From 2003 to 2004, she worked in the Astana City Hospital No. 1 as an intensive care physician. Since 2007, she has been working in the Kazakh National Medical University, named after Asfendiyrov, the head of the Department of Anesthesiology, Resuscitation, and Intensive Care. So for our first question, what was your reason for choosing medicine?
У меня родители учителя, и они все время воспитывали так, чтобы мы стремились.
Well, my parents were teachers, and they always taught us to reach for something big in this life, to get a certain level of knowledge. My parents hoped that I would become a doctor, and not simply a doctor, but a great one.
Хорошим врачом.
Студенттік сәтті тағы бір еске алайықшы.
And could you tell us about your student life? When were you in Germany, and what activities did you take part in to make Kazakhstan well known in that country?
Посольство Казахстана в Германии, мы приходили туда, устраивались встречи.
Well, in Germany, we used to visit the embassy of Kazakhstan. All the students on the Balashak scholarship program from Kazakhstan would gather there to discuss the problems that they had, and they talked about their education. We also had meetings with the ones who had an apprenticeship in Germany. We even celebrated Nowruz together. There were many doctoral students of the Kazakh National University named after Al-Farabi who were defending their doctoral theses in Germany, and we were working on researching our national drink, kummus. We talked a lot with them, and it was really exciting.
Нашими национальными напитками, допустим, кумыс, который занимается, мы с ними беседовали, у них очень интересно.
Шетелде білім алып жүргенде.
So what did you do when you missed your motherland?
Вот почему-то у нас вот место встречи было.
Well, I don't know exactly why, but our place of meeting was the Avenue of Peace. In fact, we're not a religious bunch, but nevertheless, we went to the Avenue of Peace. There's a central mosque there, and I met different people there, and it really helped me.
И нам это вот помогало.
Жолдасыңызбен жұмыс барысында бірге таныс.
So, did you meet your husband at work? I've seen that you've been making your career together. So how did you decide to create a family?
Это было очень интересно.
Oh, well, that was very interesting. We met in Moscow for the first time. Our meeting took place in an operating room of the Scientific Center of Cardiovascular Surgery named after Bakulev. When I entered the operating room, my future husband assisted, and I was the anesthesiologist in this operation. So we got acquainted with each other, and then we got married. After that, we had a baby, and for over 25 years now, we've been together. Still now, we work in the same operating room, and we are always together. These white-coated doctors always carry a great responsibility for the lives of their patients on their shoulders. Venera Kyrgyz is a wonderful doctor at work and a brilliant wife and mother at home. She met her soulmate in the field. Galim Khaliluli was a great surgeon in one of the hospitals in Moscow at the time. The meeting at work was continued into their family life, and it has been long-lasting for them, about 30 years. Dariga was born in a family of 2 doctors, and she is not in a hurry to continue on this path.
С самого детства она с нами.
She's been together with us since her childhood. She knows what the role of a doctor is. She even took part in an operation, and we demonstrated to her what are things like anesthesia and intensive care. She didn't want to become a doctor and has made her own choice, and we've agreed with her.
Мы этот выбор уважаем.
The future doctor has been a leader since her childhood. She took the lead in university as well. Having studied at the Kyrgyz State Medical Institute with excellent marks for 8 years, she went on to Moscow to continue her education. Not everyone could have such an opportunity. She graduated from the Scientific Center of Cardiovascular Surgery named after Bakulev throughout her residency. And then in her postgraduate studies, she continued the profession of anesthesiology and resuscitation.
Когда мы учились в Москве, в институте Бакулева, на тот момент это был единственный центр, который занимался проблемами сердца.
When we studied in Moscow, the institute named after Bakulev was the only center which engaged in heart problems at that time. So why study the heart? Well, because it was the #1 problem, and it continues to be the same way now. The problem of mortality resulting from cardiovascular diseases was and remains to be an issue nowadays for Kazakhstan.
Она довольно высокая для Казахстана.
The specialist graduated from the institute named after Bakulev and returned to her motherland with a doctoral degree. After coming back, she started sharing her experiences with her colleagues that she got from abroad, and she worked hard to improve the national medical care. She could combine both jobs, working in a hospital and teaching at a university. Then she moved from Astana to Almaty. While she was working at the Kazakh Medical University, she had a chance to improve her skills abroad. Taking the chance, she entered one of the leading universities, the Dutch Residency Center in Germany, and studied there for 1.5 years on the Balashak Scholarship Program. She learned how to efficiently use the latest technologies in treating people.
Программа «Балашак» нам дала очень много, в каком плане, что медицина...
The Balashak Scholarship Program has given us a lot. I mean, the medical field is changing every day. It has been developing day by day, and the education that we got back in the 1990s can't be compared with the education level of the 2000s. Just in 2010, it differs from education that we got 10 years ago. The medicine differs from that side as well. We are moving forward, though, step by step. If you step away from education that is in great demand now, you will become left behind. We try to improve our skills every year. Especially the Balashak Scholarship Program has given us such an opportunity. So Venera has been investing her power into medicine. If to talk about her work in detail, she performs operations on the heart and does heart and lung transplants. So how does one perform a transplant? And how can you take care of a patient after performing one? How do you operate on them? She tries to be up to date with the latest news in solving such problems in Kazakhstan, and she does everything in accordance with the standards of foreign countries. The latest technology in the hospital was installed by the inquiry of the doctor, Venera. Due to her hard work and initiatives, the hospital has reduced the level of mortality. Patients have more chances. The doctors believe that this is a great achievement.
Врач профессор молод и, соответственно, который умеет анализировать, умеет...
We have been working in this hospital from the first days of its opening. She is a specialist who shares her advice with her colleagues and students. The respiratory center was opened by her initiative, and has helped save the lives of many patients.
Это одна из самых таких в стране лучших.
Это аппарат искусственной вентиляции легких, это аппарат для тяжелых больных, которые нуждаются.
This here is a device for respiratory care of the lungs. It is designed for seriously ill people who need ventilation. Now we are connecting the device. This here is a patient who is under ischemic stroke and now needs prosthetic mechanical ventilation. In addition, we conduct cardio monitoring. We control blood pressure, pulse, and saturation. A new device is a cerebral oximetry. This machine measures the oxygen saturation level in each hemisphere. Separately, the left hemisphere and then the right hemisphere. It is not an invasive monitoring, and by that I mean there is no direct intervention into the artery, and it is placed on the surface of the head. That is why this is a valuable research instrument as well as a very helpful one in monitoring the patient. She was awarded by various certificates of the Balashak Scholarship Program and certificates for taking part in an international congress of anesthesiologists for her valuable ideas. Venera graduated from the best university of Germany and proved that she was not only a qualified doctor in Kazakhstan, but also abroad. After a typically hard day, you should always do some exercises because it makes you feel much better. Being as busy as a bee, Venera can still find some time for exercises. Patients are also required to do exercises. You can't require it if you don't do it yourself, says the qualified specialist. The doctor is in the same regard with her family. Physical activities and doing exercises are a main feature of her family life. Not having time to go outside because of busy days, she is very impressed by Shimbolak. That is why she comes here very often. She climbs the mountains and breathes the fresh air. Having been in some of the most beautiful places in Germany, Israel, and France, all the same she misses her homeland and nature.
У нас можно круглый год ездить.
Our nature is so beautiful. It deserves to be compared with the nature of other countries. Especially the beauty of the spruce trees and the mountains can catch anyone's eye. We try to take the time to come up and see and breathe this beautiful, fresh air. The professors which come on business trips from other countries are also impressed by such beauty. I remember when I was in Germany on the Balashak Scholarship Program. They asked me about Shimbolak. So I showed them the photos, and they were all surprised and eager to see it for themselves.
Увидеть действительно своими глазами нашу природу, наши ели, которые ни с чем не сравнимы.
Venera pays a lot of attention to the latest news of developed countries. She has been improving her skills now for 20 years and is still going to continue her pursuits. We can see in her speech that she wants to continue to learn and further improve her skills. The Kazakhstani future is very bright because it has such wonderful doctors as Venera.